Hey, brothers and sisters from the Starknet ecosystem. Welcome to the Star Cafe, a virtual space cafe where you'll enjoy some good quality content about Starknet. Brought to you by Nurstar, your personal Stark barista. So, guys, after a short holiday, we're reopening our Star Cafe today. And for this special occasion, we have the pleasure to host two founders whose projects have been among the most active ones in the utility-driven NFT space on Starknet. And they also recently teamed up in a partnership that we'll be speaking about later on. However, let's welcome Ben from Starknet ID and Clement from Starksheet. Hey guys, welcome to the Star Cafe. How is it going?
Hello, thank you for inviting us. I'm perfectly okay, and I guess Clement is okay too. He had some trouble to find how we can use Twitter Space, but now it's all set.
Yes, I think I'm in. No problem hearing everyone. Thanks for inviting me and please being here. Pleased to be here.
Thanks. Very well, guys. Thanks a lot for coming. And before going deep into the partnership between Starknet IG and Starksheet, I would like, if you don't mind, I would like to have a brief introduction from yourself, and also feel free also to say some words on your projects and their corresponding vision. So feel free to start. I don't know who would like to begin. Maybe Ben?
Yeah, let's do it. So, hello everyone. I'm Ben, co-founder of Starknet ID. I started crypto in 2017. I started working, let's say, full-time in crypto in the middle of 2021 during the bull market. And I started as a developer, full-time developer, also a content creator like you, Nurstar. And then I discovered Starknet in 2022, early 2022, started building Starknet ID in hackathons. So our goal in Starknet ID is to be the passport of Starknet, where you'll write all the data that you need to share to the world, to share to the on-chain world. So our goal is really to be the on-chain passport that will gather all the data that you need to share. And yeah, that's pretty much all for me.
Very well. Thanks a lot, Ben. Clement, your turn.
Yes, sure. So I'm Clement. I'm the founder. So I'm solo founder of Starksheet. Starksheet has been one of the first, I think, mainnet project on Starknet. The initial release of Starksheet was in August 2022. It was not my first project in crypto, though. I've started crypto actually in summer 2021 as an engineer. I'm an engineer. I have a background in applied maths. I'm just like full stack, different kind of stacks engineer. And so I started in Ethereum mainnet. I did 4 NFT, on-chain NFT project on ETH mainnet. Was more like something around PFPs, but PFP with on-chain encoding and on-chain storing of data and all this kind of, I would say, technical aspect of deploying things on mainnet, which leads me then to the finding of an L2 that could help me implement, I would say, more weird ideas about on-chain interaction between NFTs. And I landed in Starknet for this, actually, for building deeply interacting, I would say, on-chain NFTs. And then appeared the idea of building a spreadsheet, which where each cell is an NFT. So because cells are interacting with each other and are rendering themselves like you put a formula in, but it does not display the formula. It displays only the output of the formula. So all these ideas about on-chain NFTs and on-chain rendering, yes, leads me to the building of a Starksheet.
Amazing. Very impressive presentations by both of you guys. And I must say that your projects are bringing a lot of innovation in the NFT space. And I mean, they're bringing utility. That's what we need in the NFT space, because in the past 2-3 years, also NFTs had a boom, but we also need to make like a division between very speculative NFTs like PFP can be. Also, I mean, you can still enjoy PFP and you can also bring utility to it, but it's not an easy thing. But the thing I like the most about your project is that they're bringing utility, and they're also partnering with other projects in order to to bring this utility into other projects as well. And also, I need to remind the audience that both Ben and Clement are also very active, if I remember well, also in contributing to open source projects on Starknet. So they're very active also beyond their own personal projects. And having said that, it's now time to talk about the partnership between Starknet ID and Starksheet. This partnership that you announced last week. Could you tell us a bit how you came up with this idea, what it is about, and what's its goal, please?
Yes, sure. So maybe I could start. So basically, what was going on is that we were working at the same place with Fricoben. We are in Paris. Some days we go to the Only Dust offices. Only Dust, which is a company that sort of organize grants for open source project in the Starknet ecosystem. Not only Starknet ecosystem, but it has started mainly with the Starknet ecosystem. And anyway, in Paris they have offices, so where builders can go if they don't want to stay at home, let's say. So we were there with Ben and talking about different our projects and what was going on anyway. And I was somehow telling that I was looking for a way to make people more interactive with their Starksheet application. Because the Starksheet is not something that you're supposed to own just for the sake of owning it. I mean, an ID is owned and maybe shared, but it's somehow static. While the idea of the sheet is that people, ideally, I mean, would use their sheet on a day-to-day basis to do any kind of request that they do usually on a block explorer, or that they do with a spreadsheet where they copy paste some data that they found online. Anyway, so my goal was to find a way to make people interact with the sheet. And I was looking for ideas, and I think that Ben, which is more better than I am in inventing quests and stuff, and in social, I would say, social things and community animation and so on and so forth, talked about quests and stuff. And then he said, but there's these subdomains, we partnered with some other project, we have the subdomain in Bravos and so on and so forth, so maybe there is something to do with it. And Ben, maybe you want to add something.
Yeah, so the idea is like we were talking like at a break, like let's say coffee break, would say, and he said, yeah, but nobody really understands what is the goal of Starksheet right now, and how to use it. So what we could do is like to take the subdomains to make a subdomain distribution that is free for all the user, but only if they understood what is Starksheet and how to use it. So this is like his goal was to really make people understand what is Starksheet and how to use it. And I said, oh, if you want to like incentivize user to do it, you can do it easily by giving subdomains to people that understood. So that's why it's pretty difficult, like to have a on-sheet subdomain, Stark subdomain right now, because you have to understand what is Starksheet, make the work necessary to understand, to use it, etc. But it gives more value to the subdomain. So this is the idea that we had at the really beginning, and one or 2 days after, it was on testnet and we tested it, and then 3 or 4 days after it was on mainnet.
Amazing. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Also, like by myself, I need to admit that on one end, I'm pretty familiar, with Starknet ID, but on the other, regarding Starksheet, being somebody who's very scared by Excel and stuff like that, who's not very good with it, I had a look at it, in the previous months. But obviously, to be honest, I still need to understand how it works. So I think this is a great initiative that will also bring me out of my laziness to learn more about Starksheet, which is amazing. So could you tell us how this campaign works? I mean, for example, how could I get a Starknet ID domain by using Starksheet? Where do I find the instructions to learn how to use Starksheet as well?
Maybe first, Clement, you can like define what is Starksheet, and then answer this question.
Yes. So Starksheet, in short, it's like a spreadsheet. So you need to be a bit familiar with spreadsheet, I guess. Anyway, so it's like a spreadsheet. So you have a bunch of cells in a grid, and in each cell you can input either a constant value like 1, 2, 10, 42, whatever you want, or you can make a call to a function. This is how a spreadsheet works. And when you make a call to a function in spreadsheet, can be sum, add, whatever you want in a Google Sheet or Excel. And when you make this call, you type in the call parameters, which are either constant value themselves, like equal sum 10, 20, which should output 30, or you can type equal sum A1, B2, C3, and like a list of parameters referencing indeed other cells, which then will be computed as using the output of those cells as the input of the sum function. Is it okay right now with everyone? Maybe North Star or Fricoben, can you tell me if it's okay, this explication first?
Yeah. Now I got it. I also I'm doing live. I just typed 10 in the A1 stuff, and I signed the transaction and just playing with it a bit.
So this is the basic spreadsheet mechanism. What you do when you do something on Excel or Google Sheet, and say the difference with Starksheet is that it's using not a set of software-defined functionalities. When you use the sum on Google Sheet, like Google engineers had to develop this sum function at some point. The difference in Starksheet is that you just can call any function that is already existing in any contract on the blockchain. Okay, so this is the difference with the spreadsheet. But then in these calls, the same, you can put as a parameters either constant values or output from other cells. The only difference is that you need to call a function deployed in a contract. And how do you can call this function? You need first to know, of course, the address of the contract that you want to call, and then the name of the functions that you want to call. So that's why if you go in Starksheet and if you type something in a cell, either you can free typing something which should be interpreted as a constant value, or you enter the address of a contract, any address that you can copy paste from the block explorer. It could be your contract, the contract of your NFT, whatever you want. And then if you append a dot at the end of the address, the application will fetch the available function deployed at this address, so that you can then later on more easily say craft the call to this function. And then when you click out, it actually makes the call. So this is how Starksheet works. So yeah, in each cell you can make any call to anything deployed on chain already, in short.
Very, very good. Cool. Also for the listeners, for the audience, if you would like to learn more about how to use a Starksheet, you can simply click on the Learn More option that you can find just next to the place where your address is displayed, and there you will find a Notion sheet where you'll find all the instructions you need in order to use a Starksheet. Would you guys like to learn to add something on this point?
No, this is the basic usage of Starksheet. For me, it's clear. I know, looking at the people now in the Star Cafe, that some of them try to actually mint the sheet, and it took them like 3 hours. So it should not be so easy. But
I see. Okay. I'm one of them. Okay, cool. Well, having said that, let's see if there are some questions from the audience. Otherwise, we just focus on an open discussion that I had thought about. So, guys from the audience, if you have any question, feel free to send me the permission to send me a request to speak, and I'll be glad to grant it.
Yeah, so just waiting for a question. It's true that Starksheet is kind of difficult to use, but that's the whole goal of the operation, is to try to vulgarize or to make it easy for people by incentivizing them and and make a tutorial. But I guess it wasn't that efficient, because as you said, Clement, I know that Thomas took Tomo here had some trouble to do it still, but I guess we'll try to improve in the next few weeks.
I actually released a full a video like doing the process at
Interesting.
regular speed without any cut nor acceleration, and it took like, well, of course, when you know how to click. But this if I mean that's the purpose of a quest, I guess. But I think also the thread, the Twitter thread, and I would be very happy to listen to some feedbacks from people if there are in the audience people that try to do it, where it was not so obvious or where it was complicated or where it was unclear, because I thought that, okay, of course, for me, I did Starksheet and I had all the understanding of the tool. But for anyone just coming in, I thought that the thread may be more than enough, but apparently it was really hard. So yeah, I would be interested in knowing where exactly it's confusing.
I see. I also see there are no questions so far. So if you agree, we could move to the final point of this Star Cafe. And I'd like to hear from you your views on the overall NFT scene on Starknet. Do you like the current landscape? Where do you see potential for innovation and utility-driven initiatives? What you like, what you don't like, where could we improve on? Stuff like that.
Yeah. So maybe I can start. I think right now the NFT space on Starknet is still very limited because we are very early in the ecosystem. But in the future, we'll see. I hope we'll see a lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff that could be very cool. With Evereye, for example, that is a very talented NFT team that will bridge to Starknet in some way, and that will focus in Starknet. It will bring a lot of cool things, but for the NFT in general right now in Starknet, I would say that it's very limited in terms of volume. When I check even Starknet ID volume on the marketplaces, etc., it's still very limited. We have some collections here and there, but I don't really know them. We have Brick, of course, that is also building some cool stuff, and I really think Brick is one of the main narrative and one of the main things we have to use as an ecosystem in order to bring some NFT lovers to Starknet, because Brick, in my opinion, is very interesting in terms of what you can do with this tool. But mainly right now, it's true that in the ecosystem we do have a lot of things in terms of the NFT space. But I think in the future, of course, Starknet ID will continue to build, but it's more about the identity space, not really about the NFT. I mean, we use the NFT as a tool, not really as a thing that when you say NFT, you think more about what is like art or PFP or that kind of stuff, less about identity, etc. So we use the NFT as a tool, but yeah, right now I think like the space is not really developed, but I think we have a lot of cool things to see in the future with realms going on mainnet, influence going on mainnet, games in general that will build and will go on mainnet on Starknet. Brick that is also building some cool stuff. Evereye that is coming. We'll see a lot of cool things arriving in the NFT space.
Very
No,
good.
I
What
agree.
about you?
Yes, I agree with Ben and the fact that we don't have any, like the NFT scene on Starknet is nothing related to the NFT scene on another blockchain, being either Ethereum mainnet. And I did like 4 NFT projects on Ethereum mainnet. Of course, it cannot be as big as mainnet, but also on other EVM or not EVM chain, even Solana is not EVM. But I think that all these chains, all the NFTs project on these chains are somehow copying the initial NFT trend of the mainnet, meaning just making PFPs or playing with rarity. Just it's an image and a club around this image, maybe, and maybe there is a narrative as well, but it's very static. On the other hand, I think that the people that join the Starknet community and the Starknet ecosystem are really interested in the computational capacities of the network. They want to, I mean, the network is very innovative with where with supposedly very cheap computation with the account abstraction. And so the builders here right now, they don't want to do just something easy or as a 10K PFP. They want to do NFTs that are more complex and they believe more interested to the end user. So maybe for the end user right now, it's a bit difficult to understand, or the scene might look a bit poor. But on the other hand, I think that from the builder point of view, we are just trying to do something very different. And you did not mention the pixels, for instance, the pixels project as well was really interesting. And I think it's still going on. Like every 2 days, there are new NFTs built by the people just clicking on the website. So there more innovation, but less project right now, I would think.
I see. Thanks a lot for your
Yeah,
views on this point, guys. Yeah, Ben, please.
yeah. As Clement said, like if we wanted simply to copy what Solana did 1 or 2 years ago, what Ethereum did two years and a half ago, with this PFP craze, I think first it will not be useful because this is the end of it. Uh, and also, I think there's a lot more to do with NFTs, especially games, especially NFTs that can build on themselves, NFTs that can be used as passport identity, NFTs that can be used as a lot of things. So what we're building on Starknet is a bit like more complicated than PFP. We'll also need that kind of stuff. But of course, like to me, as he said, Starknet for the moment is a bit not really mature in terms of NFT because we're also more ambitious than only PFPs, and we want to use the formidable capacity of computation of Starknet. He said.
Sure. Well, I agree with both of you guys, and I guess that the whole NFT space will improve together also with the state of the Starknet network, and also as soon as there will be some infrastructure, some proper and mature infrastructure to help NFT projects from other chains which are deployed on other chains, bridging into Starknet. And like maybe, for example, I was in Japan for Tokyo, and I met the guys from Fee, which is a NFT project, which is a kind of NFT driven world, kind of NFT slash metaverse project, and they were very good. I remember that in the early days they were also considering they were deploying something on Starknet as well. But then, due to the maturity of the network, they decided to make their first steps on another chain. But they really look forward to deploying on Starknet once again as soon as possible. So I think that as soon as we have a more performant network, the quality also of the existing projects, NFT projects on Starknet, will improve dramatically, together with the arrival of new players as well on the scene. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like we have to take advantage of the advantages of the chain itself, which means that in the future, as Clement said, for the moment it's like in the future, the computation will be really cheap, especially when you can compare it to other chains, other layer 2 especially. So the idea for us is really to take advantage of this cheap computation in order to build things that can need that kind of cheap computation, which means video games especially, and it's because of that we see a lot of games building on Starknet. Why? Because it's mainly because games that are building on Starknet understood that in the future Starknet will be one of the layer 2s where there's very very cheap computation, and maybe the layer 2 where there'll be the cheapest computation. So that's a big advantage that we have. But of course, like for the short term succeeding of the NFT ecosystem, we don't have the EVM compatibility for the moment. Clement can talk more about it, but we don't have the EVM compatibility, so we don't have like easy bridging with other NFT project that can like move to Starknet. Of course, it can take like more time for us to build an ecosystem, but as we have, I think we'll have at least one of the best tech, I guess the NFT ecosystem will understood that and move for the tech and not only for the grants of the ecosystem, like it happens in other ecosystems. Maybe Clement can talk more about the EVM, non-EVM thing.
Yes, sure. So because for me, Starksheet was the initial project I've done when I arrived in the Starknet ecosystem. I would say that right now I'm still doing few things with Starksheet and hopefully making I'd say educational things as we have done now with the Starknet ID. But the app itself, I mean, works, and because everything is on chain, it should work. So if you get you from time to time, I do some upgrades, but it's not the main my main project right now. I'm actually working on another things called Kakarot. Kakarot, it's an EVM written in Cairo and meant to be deployed either uh, on in short anywhere where it's deployed, and it's meant to bring the EVM compatibility to the Starknet world. So in few words, it means that both the developers and the users are able to keep working as if they were on Ethereum mainnet or any L2s with an EVM like Optimism or Arbitrum, sidechain like Polygons anyway, but still being on Starknet. So we are close. I could make an announcement. We are close to a testnet. For different reasons, the testnet is not done yet, while the Kakarot engine says it is already deployed on testnet, on the girly testnet, and it's been live for 1 month or two. But we have not publicly sort of advertised this because we miss still some tooling, I would say, and some RPCs node ready to be deployed to easily use this EVM engine. But yes, so in short, Kakarot, which is now my main focus, is the project that will bring the Ethereum compatibility on Starknet, both for developers and for users, meaning that it will be possible to deploy the same project, the same code base as is on Starknet for the developers, and for the users to use application Starknet, but still using their usual addresses on MetaMask or whatever wallet they use. And we expect this, of course, to drain a lot of projects easily on Starknet, projects that don't want to rewrite, that don't want to maintain two code base for different reasons. They want to just deploy something that were already existing. Or anyway, we hope that this will bring more traction to Starknet.
Very well, guys. Thanks a lot. I really look forward to seeing what the future will bring to the NFT space and to the Starknet ecosystem on the whole. However, it's now time to close the Star Cafe. First of all, thanks a lot to our audience today. And obviously, special thanks go to our guests, Clement from Starksheet and Ben from Starknet ID. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks a lot once again. And so for the audience, see you tomorrow at the Star Cafe with a chat with the builders behind Avnu, a DeFi multitasking platform, happening tomorrow at 1 p.m. UTC, the same time as today. Having said that, thanks once again, fam. See you next time, and be sure to share the Starknet Vibe. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.